Good morning, people. Flying Guillotine, Black Spring with Autumn. Brother Slim Hussein, salute to you, brother. Thank you all for coming through. We're going to get into this. We're going to discuss the book. Great question. Great question. We're going to get into that. No problem, Black Spring with Autumn. No problem. It's an honor. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Marcy T, salute to the beautiful Marcy T in the building. My indigenous sister. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, and freedom fighters. Salute, salute. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. Hitting y'all upside the head with the morning paper. And in this morning paper, we're going to talk about that lack of ceasefire. That nonsense. The bullshit. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that today. Yes, sirree. We're going to talk about the propaganda. We're going to talk about what really started the end of the ceasefire. How it never ceased in the first place. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about who they placed the blame on, of course. And why Benjamin Netanyahu needs Hamas. He needs Hamas. He fuels Hamas. And this idea, this opinion is shared by people of Israel who actually have a problem with it. They don't even believe in a Palestinian state. People that believe that Benjamin Netanyahu is using Hamas to stay in power and to push an agenda they believe. I won't say that they don't believe a Palestinian state, but these are Israeli people that have this thought, that have this opinion, just based on, information and certain knowledge, right? Based on the fact that there was a stand-down order before October 7th, right? They allowed Hamas to come into the country with hang gliders. You understand what I'm talking about? Ain't no motherfucking way. So we're going to get into that, man. We're going to get into the ceasefire that never was, right? Kind of like, holy shit. The fuck? Man, that bus almost took my ass out fishtailing. A school bus just fishtailed, y'all, and almost took my ass out. But, I had the wherewithal to kind of make an adjustment. It doesn't look like they crashed. It just looks like they fishtailed. You got to watch these bus drivers. Anyway, so the ceasefire, which started last Friday, I believe. And since that, well, not last Friday, the Friday before last. Wait. Yeah, it was the Friday before last. It was the Friday before last when that ceasefire started. And by Sunday, there were 38 dead Palestinians, reportedly at the hands of the IDF, right? Now, this was not widely reported. You won't find this widely reported. I saw maybe 2 or 3 publications, including Sky News, that talked about how the IDF were killing Palestinians shortly after the ceasefire started, right? Because they were crossing yellow lines and all this bullshit, right? Crossing imaginary line. Imagine. They draw an imaginary line on a map, and they expect the Palestinian people to see the line on the ground. Like, no, these motherfuckers don't, they just trying to get home. They don't, they're not aware of this line. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that Israel was still able to occupy 54% or so of the land of Gaza is ridiculous in the first place. And to kill people for crossing this imaginary, this yellow line, there is no yellow line on the fucking ground. Okay? Am I back, guys? Give me a Romeo Lima Charlie if your boy's back. If y'all can read me. All right. All right, Mercy T, I appreciate that. So the ceasefire, it never started in the first place, right? So, of course, they kill 138 people by Sunday, reportedly. And, you know, I take it if 3 sources, or if there are 3 reports that are the same, right? Usually you can kind of go with that, right? Because usually 2 sources in journalism. I'm not a journalist, right? Let's not get that twisted. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a news reporter. But in journalism, typically you have 2 good sources that align and they basically say the same thing. Then you can go ahead and kind of get that as kind of credible, right? Now, then we got people bringing up this thing, this fact that Hamas lined up some people in front of them, right? Hamas members, allegedly, and they executed several people. Now, these people were not Israeli, and they were not IDF. They were considered to be traitors by the Palestinian people. So they executed who they thought were traitors. Whether they had any evidence or not, I have no idea, right? It's their business. It's their business, right? Of course, they use that as a way to justify this idea that, well, Hamas is not holding up the peace, the ceasefire. Well, Hamas is not killing Israelis or IDF members. They're killing people they consider to be traitors, right? That helped the IDF cause death and destruction amongst in Gaza. So yeah, they took their asses out. It's not up to me. It's not up to any of us to determine whether or not that's a fact, because, well, Palestine is not our country. It is what it is. They're not using our funds to commit atrocities. So my concern is what Israel is doing with the backing of the United States, financially and otherwise. So that's what my concern lies. But they use that, right? And then they say, oh, well, Hamas is killing people. Hamas is killing people. They're not very specific to me about who they're killing, right? And so, of course, IDF kills more and more Palestinians. And then they're cutting off aid as well, just so y'all know. They use this to say, well, we're going to stem the flow of aid into the country, and we're not going to allow the people to get aid. Once again, they are doing this, which is a crime. It's a war crime, because this aid is for the civilians, non-combatants. They should not be stopping any aid from getting into the country. You know, this is crazy. So again, we're back to the same old shenanigans, the same old bullshit. And obviously we are allowing this to happen as American citizens. We're not holding anybody accountable. We're not holding Trump accountable. We're not holding anyone within our own power structure accountable for giving Israel the backing and bolstering them and giving them the courage. We are encouraging this behavior from Israel. And it's really crazy because the things that they're doing, that they have been doing over the last 2 years to the Palestinian people, and the things that our government right now is doing in the Caribbean, just indiscriminately killing people and destroying boats, destroying personal property. It's really kind of crazy that this is being allowed to happen, right? If it was any other country that were doing this, like we would be all up in arms. Our government, our president, they would be calling for the arrests, and they would be calling for something to happen, right? So let's say Palestine was doing all this shit to Israel, the genocide and all that other shit, and their justification was, well, Israel, the Israeli terrorists sent people into our country, and we were aligned with Israel. Man, do you know what we would do to Palestine? Israel wouldn't have to lift a finger. We would just go in there and just completely destroy the country of Palestine. Like, Hamas would no longer exist. Period. But because it's Israel doing it, it's okay. Everything's fine and dandy. We ain't got to worry about nothing. Just sit back, relax, and watch your watch your extortion funds go towards committing this mass genocide. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. If Maduro was sending battleships off the coast of California in international waters, right, and were destroying tiny little boats, just and saying, oh yeah, there were drugs. There were drugs on that boat. Just blowing the shit up, destroying it without providing any evidence of any drugs or anything. Do you know what we would do to Venezuela right now? There would be no question. They would blow up one boat. One boat would be destroyed. If October 7th happened to Palestine, right? And Palestine started killing a bunch of children and women and all this, just completely destroying and leveling civilian buildings, there would be no question. There would be no question. They would send ground troops. Our country, we would, yeah. The United States would send U.S. military personnel into Gaza and completely eradicate and destroy Hamas. It would be a sweep. Yeah, it would completely sweep them. We would use Israel's knowledge of the tunnels because, IDF built a lot of those tunnels. We would use that. Like, yeah, the tunnels would not work for them. This is what would happen if the shit were reversed, right? Because what we would say would be, well, this terrorist group out of Israel that came in on hang gliders, they don't represent Israel and the Israeli government or even the people of Israel. Yeah, you're attacking us. Well, this terrorist organization is not part of our government. It's not, they don't represent the people. So the fact that you're retaliating against the people of Israel, oh yeah, it'll be used as justification to completely wipe Gaza off the map. But because it's the other way around, and they want to use the excuse, well, Hamas is using women and children as human shields. So obviously we got to kill the women and children. We got to wipe them out. It is what it is. Right? Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. All we got to do is say the words. They're using their people as human shields. Complete justification. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, go ahead and kill the women and children. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah. Oh, they're human shields? Fuck it. Go ahead and wipe them out. Oh, there are tunnels under that residential building where civilians are living at? Yeah, destroy it. Destroy it. Just destroy it. Completely wipe out the entire goddamn. Let's wipe out 84% of Gaza's infrastructure and buildings. Human shields. Yeah. That's it. That's all we got to do. And everything's okay and perfect. Are you guys familiar? There is a plan for Gaza. There has been a plan for Gaza that was put in place before October 7th. Well, of course, the people of Gaza are in the way. The fucking useless eaters, the useless Palestinian eaters, Christian, Muslim, or otherwise, it doesn't matter. Salute to Pride Fighter TV in the building. Salute to you. Think about it. They have a plan. They got the Greater Israel Plan. They got the Greater Israel Project. And they have another, the Great something, I forgot. I got it. Yeah, I got it right here for y'all. And I'm going to explain why Benjamin Netanyahu needs Hamas to be active. And I think that Hamas's ability to operate is due to Israel. Yeah, I think Israel is actually helping Hamas do what they're doing. And maybe Hamas they don't understand it. They don't know that because Mossad is one of the most sophisticated and ruthless spy apparatuses in the entire world. I mean, they're up there. Israeli intelligence, yeah, their military intelligence is not an oxymoron like the United States military intelligence. You know how they say, if you were in the Army or if you were in the U.S. Armed Forces, they say military intelligence is an oxymoron. It ain't that for Israel. Yeah. How do you think they were able to get into Iran and launch missiles on Iran from within Iran? Yeah, they got some shit cracking, you know what I mean? And then I told y'all that when it was over, Iran was going to start executing people because obviously they had to use Iranians as assets, and you know, they had to convince some Iranians to betray the country. So they're obviously going to execute. And that's exactly what they did. It was a 12-day war. On the 13th or 14th day, they started executing motherfuckers. The same thing that Hamas did. Yeah. Anyway. This is what we do, y'all. So the IDF, I think that Mossad, you know, helped Hamas get some shit cracking. This is what I believe, just based on information I've seen, reports I've read. There's a lot of information out there, y'all. You just have to look for it, you know. Salute to Insane. Salute to you, bro. Top of the AM, bro. Yeah, so Hamas is extremely beneficial for someone like Benjamin Netanyahu because Benjamin Netanyahu is a warmonger. The only way he knows how to lead is through violence, right? That's the only way Benjamin Netanyahu, he needs a conflict in order for him to operate as he does, right? He needs this continuous, constant conflict until the goal is achieved. And the goal is to completely take over damn near the entire Middle East. That's just what it is. Now think about this, man. Think about this. You know that Trump wants to call Gaza Trump's Gaza or some shit like that, some silly shit like that. They want beachfront property in Gaza. They want to rebuild it in their image. They want to use taxpayer money to rebuild, right? But who's going to benefit from the rebuild? It's not going to be. It's not going to be the Palestinian people. They're not going to benefit. If they still are there, there's going to be a full-on apartheid. They are going to be the worker bees, right? They are going to be used to rebuild. They're going to be used to work at the resorts. It's not going to benefit us at all either. We're not going to get any money from it. Then we're not going to get a return on the investment at all whatsoever. Nothing that we do. All this money we put in the other countries, including Argentina, not even just the other countries, into the corporations, the bankers, right? When we bailed out the banks in 2008, thanks to Barack Obama, we didn't benefit from that. Salute to Black Spring Autumn. She dropped a copy. She dropped a link to my book. Y'all can go check that out. Yeah, someone says Satan Yahoo. Hi 715 says, my brother, are you talking about the committee to overwatch the transition from Hamas control? Well, what do they call it? The Board of Peace? No. This is something different. No, the Board of Peace, that's part of it, right? That's what they created the Board of Peace to exactly do that, right? To ensure that Hamas gives control over, right? That they're no longer a controlling arm of the country, right? Like they're not essentially going to be the government. That's the whole point behind that, right? They want to make sure that Hamas does not have any control. They want to disarm Hamas, all these different things, right? So that obviously means that they're going to place a puppet government in place, right? They're going to put in some puppets, which is what they usually do. And that's what's going to happen. Or Israel is going to end up controlling Gaza or the United States. Simple as that, right? It's really just that simple. Yes, all the billionaires. Dave B says, bro, it's Nosferatu. I don't know what the point is of you telling me that, Dave B. It's Nosferatu. It's okay. In my opinion, says Cat Daddy Man, Hamas is no different than ICE or the cartel. Absolutely not. Just like IDF is no different than ICE or the cartel. The IDF is a criminal organization. It's a criminal enforcement arm. The IDF is an enforcement arm of a criminal organization. Seeing as how they can't govern themselves. Who can't govern themselves? Cat, that's some low IQ stuff, says Oskovich. Well, help me raise my IQ. Tell me how I can raise my IQ. The next thing you write better be telling me how to raise my IQ, or I'm getting you the fuck out of here. I ain't playing games with y'all. No games will be played. If you're not, help me raise my IQ. 85 IQ community at it again. Okay, show Nick. You as well. Tell me how to raise my IQ, or you getting the fuck out of here. The next thing you better write better be telling me how to raise my IQ. J Cat tells me to play chess. I already play chess. Me and my wife play chess all the time. All right, here comes the idiots. Here comes the nincompoops. Anyway, the bottom line is this ceasefire was never going to hold up because they can't allow it to hold up, right? They had to give the impression, they had to have a little, okay, we'll take a little respite. We'll calm down a little bit and then we'll resume. We'll ensure that the ceasefire doesn't hold up, right? Because every other previous ceasefire never held up anyway, right? I mean, there are patterns here. There's only a couple ways to end this conflict. You have to you got to get Benjamin Netanyahu out of there. You got to stop funding Israel. Stop sending money to Israel. Period. Marsh T says, I'm a mod here, so I am modding my business. That's what I'm talking about, Marcy T. Again, why do you think it's so important? Hold on. So wait. Study history, but what war has Israel started against the watermelon people? Again, why do you think it was so important for other countries to back the deal? To give the impression that they're trying to make peace. Yeah, it's all a dog and pony show. Like, to show that there was actual effort trying to be put into this. But I didn't see Israel sign anything. Did anybody else? Has anybody seen Israel sign that peace deal? Oh yeah, I already know. Ingenious Baboon. They stay up in here. Hamas broke the deal. Says cozy machine. No, they didn't. Israel broke the deal when they never signed it in the first fucking place and killed 38 Palestinians by Sunday of last week. Yeah, the IDF started immediately killing people. As a matter of fact, while everybody had agreed to the peace deal, they were killing people with goddamn tanks. And then they were killing people that crossed this yellow line that they made up. No, get the fuck out of here with that. There wasn't, no. Hamas broke nothing. Marcy T. Prayer Warrior says Israel funds Hamas. That's what I believe. Yeah, so you know what? My position is that Hamas is controlled opposition. Right? Controlled opposition. Yes, that's what I believe. Now, let's look at this. I want to show y'all something. I know. The Great Trust. So what is the Great Trust? Now, this is from the Washington Post. The Great Trust that talks about how they go from a demolished Iranian proxy to a prosperous Abrahamic ally. All right? So what is the Great Trust? All you got to do is look it up. Now, the Great Trust is the plan they have for Gaza, right? It talks about the Great Reconstitution, Economic Acceleration, and Transformation Trust will fundamentally transform Gaza. Spatial design, economy, governance, and integrate it into an Abrahamic fabric and the broader IMEC initiative. A U.S.-led multilateral custodianship leading to a reformed Palestinian self-governance. See how they contradict themselves in the same paragraph? How you going to contradict yourself? A U.S.-led multilateral custodianship leading to a reformed Palestinian self-governance. What, like Iraq? Like Afghanistan? How'd that work out? Now, it can start as a U.S.-Israel bilateral agreement taking control from Israel to the U.S. once Hamas is disarmed. What are they trying to do right now? Disarm Hamas. Tired of this BS. It's sad that we don't have the truth from our own leaders. You'll never get the truth from our leaders. If you think that Donald Trump and them, those so-called representatives that we have in Congress, are our leaders, no. They are our dictators. That's who they are. They are our rulers. There's a difference between a ruler and a leader. But I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. Canon. Oh, okay. That was deleted. March C. Prayer Warrior says, Who here doesn't understand that the CIA, FBI, and British intelligence and the Russian intelligence and the Mossad have a global production company to bring forth all these lies? Yes, it's a propaganda machine. So look at this. What's the name of the production company I'm referring to? I've been at this a long time and never heard of this, or that Russia's a part of this. Anyway. Everything you're talking about is lies that you came up with. Oh, I came up with this? I came up with this shit. So the Great Trust, I made that up, right? I made this up. I made this up. The Great Trust. So I wrote this and I put it, and I had the Washington Post put this out. That's your position. I don't understand why everybody's getting all mad at Donald Trump. Dude is 80 years old and almost damn near on his deathbed. So what? So I don't give a fuck. You come up here, act like you're going to be the leader of the freedom and all this other shit. You manipulate people. You drag people into your cult of personality. And I don't give a fuck if you're 80 years old. Yeah. Trump was bought and paid for long time ago. Yeah. If Trump is too old to accept accountability and responsibility as the so-called leader of the free world, then maybe he shouldn't be the leader of the free world. You thought about that? Damn, Marcy T out here. Yes. Casey Fox asked if I'm saying they are a dictator. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely not leaders. They're not leaders. What's the difference between a ruler and a leader? Well, leaders are chosen. Leaders don't want to lead, but because they lead by example, because they give a good example of how to operate in certain situations, right? They're cool, calm, and collected. You know, they push leadership on the others. They encourage others to be leaders and be self-sufficient. That's what leaders do. Leaders are hesitant to lead, right? People look up to them because, look, this guy is on his shit. He knows what he's doing. You know, leaders guide people. Guide people. In order to guide people, you have to be in front, showing how to get shit done instead of telling others how to do shit and you ain't doing shit your goddamn self. Sitting up there in your ivory tower pulling strings is not leading. No. Leaders lead, right? They're in front. So if a leader wants you to do something, guess what? They are going to work just as hard or harder than you to get that thing done. Yeah, that's what leaders do. Leaders don't dictate. Leaders guide, advise, and encourage leadership in other people because they understand they're not better than the people that look up to them, right? So that's what leaders are. A dictator, they just sit there and think that they're entitled. They feel like you got to do what they tell you to do. If you don't like it, then they want to hurt you. They want to extort you. They want to kill you. They want to lock you up. They want to go after you for saying things that they don't like. You know, like Donald Trump told that reporter shortly after Charlie Kirk's death. Oh, I could probably come after you. That's not a leader. That's a piece of shit. Who was the leader in the U.S. in your opinion? I would say Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, JFK, right? Those are examples of leaders, right? They put themselves out there. They show, I'm not just going to talk about and tell others, right? They put themselves out there, right? They put themselves out there. They might end up getting taken out. That's what leaders do. Leaders put themselves in more danger than the people that they are guiding and leading, right? Because they have to, right? They have to, put themselves out there. Luigi Main says, then by your logic, no president of a nation or a prime minister isn't a leader? Wait, you got a double negative going on there, bro. What you trying to say? I would say definition says CBS. So what's the definition then? Making up my own definitions. All right, CBS, you gonna tell me the true definition of a leader and what a leader really is, or that's the next thing you're gonna write, or you getting the fuck out of here. I appreciate that, Jay September. Salute to you. What's my opinion on JD? Another puppet. JD Vance, if you talking about JD Vance, if he's going to replace Donald Trump, he's going to do the same thing. They're all puppets. They're all puppets. The puppet. See, the true rulers of this nation are the bankers, the corporatists, the special interest groups that get shit they want because they wave their money around and they have all this influence, and they can get when the Congress people and whatnot, when they retire, they can get positions on boards. And it's not just about getting donations while you're in office. No, it's all about the promises and the dividends and all the investments, right? You remember that scandal where they were talking about how Nancy Pelosi and them was getting all this money through investments and through trade and all this other stuff on the stock market? And they were talking about, well, they wanted to restrict how Congress people are able to dabble in the market because obviously they have insider knowledge. They know certain things. Yeah. You remember Bernie Sanders used to shit on the millionaires and the billionaires? Now he just shits on the billionaires. And he's not even shitting on the billionaires anymore, really. Bibi Nosferatu is currently the one pulling the strings. He's one of them. Clearly, in certain situations, especially when it comes to foreign interest. I would say Bibi controls more of what's going on and when it comes to foreign interest, and it all aligns with the corporations. They all work together. You have never seen so much cohesive work. I'm trying to tell you, y'all have no idea. All that fighting that they're doing left and right in the House, and now they just extended, by the way. They opened the government back up, I believe. I'm not sure if Trump signed it yet, but apparently I don't think he needs to sign it right now, but I think they extended. They opened the government back up, but the deadline is November 21st to get some shit back cracking. I think they have 30 days from now to make something happen. So, by the way, all this left versus right in Congress, all this posturing and bullshit behind the scenes, they don't really give a fuck. I'm a piece, says A Morningstar. Okay. Slim Hussein, salute to you, bro. He says, in politics, there ain't no leaders, just puppets. Yeah. There are puppets, and then there are the masters, the elite class that pull the strings. They are not leaders at all, right? At all. Corporate America don't care about its citizens. No, all it cares about is its bottom line. The USA is a federal corporation. It's a corporation. It's a business. I'm good, Kaden, Gangen, Kungen, Isaac, Boogen, Yakin, Boogen, Bakken. I'm good, brother. Salute to you. They're not leaders. The people in Congress and the president, they're not leaders at all. There are people above them. The Federal Reserve, those are the ones. They pull a lot of the strings, right? So, this is what it is. Where am I from? I'm from LA originally. Yes, I believe that Traore is the leader. They have nations where there are leaders, right? The problem is it's still a government at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's crazy because people believe they need government to function, but a true leader would help you understand that you really don't. You don't. Slim Hussein says, "Don't y'all realize the definition they give us? The powers don't follow. Yeah, they don't follow it, or the laws, the rules, the whatever. They don't concern themselves with such things." CBS Scott says, "Leader, the person who leads or commands a group." I don't give a fuck what you're talking about, CBS Scott, right now, because you used I don't care leads. That doesn't. How does that disprove what I say? The person who leads or commands a group, organization, or country. How's that different? How does that go against what I said? See, I expounded on the definition of what a leader is. When you lead, where are you? When you lead, where are you? Are you in front? Showing the example? Leading by example? Guiding? Or are you up back there somewhere at the top of the hill or in some fucking ivory tower barking out orders and telling people what to do? Which one is that? When you lead, where are you? That's what I thought. I don't give a fuck about your little pan definition from the goddamn Google. Yes. Mrs. Tate Larry's wife says insider trading. All that. Yes, insider trading. They get all that shit cracking. I'm skipping. Damn it. Hold on. Exactly. Flying guillotine. Can you guys read me? Dolphin in the Woods says, "Glad to find you here live. We need more people like you, like us common folk, explaining it in our language. Tell it like it is. Good work. Keep it up." I appreciate that, Dolphin in the Woods. Salute to you. That's what I try to do, man. TJ519 says, "Your intentions are correct, but brother, ego is leading you down the wrong path. The moment we think we know it all is the moment we know the least." TJ, what are you talking about? When have I ever said that I know it all? And what are you referring to? Be specific. My ego is leading me down the wrong path. What path am I going down? Give me an idea. Because you're talking about a path. I assume you know the path I'm going down because of my ego. When have I ever said that I know everything? Oh, did somebody drop a gift? Or what was that? Oh, thank you. Whoever that was. That shit came and went. I don't. Okay, Sharia sent me a clutch. Thank you, I appreciate that. I've never said I knew everything. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button if I never told y'all I know everything. New Disaster says they love colored people. Good for you. Are we pro-Trump or concerned about Trump's behavior? No, I'm not pro-Trump at all. No. I'm not pro-government. I'm not pro-left or right. I'm not pro-Republican or Democrat or independent or libertarian or Green Party or vegan party, wherever the fuck party you got. I'm not pro any of that. No. We are not. I'm not. I'm speaking for myself. Mr. Tate says we should always be leery of government, always question them in their intentions. Yep, every day. Every time they do something, you should question it. Yeshua's return, salute to you, bro. Where the trolls coming from? Well, I'm talking about the subject that I'm talking about brings them out, right? Because there are a lot of statists that they don't understand the message I'm pushing. So they have to troll because they don't know how to combat it. They don't know how to do it. They have no idea how to handle what I'm saying. So they got to come in here and troll. They love Donald Trump, obviously. A lot of them, and then they're bots, and whatever else comes with it. Slim Hussein says, y'all will believe authority for whatever reason until they tell you they lied. Then y'all don't care if they lied. Exactly. They lie all the time. They lied about weapons of mass destruction. They lied about why we went into Vietnam. They lie about everything, y'all. They constantly lie, and they tell you lie, you don't give a shit. It's kind of crazy. And salute to my mods for, handling the business. You know what I mean? Is it even possible to have a leader that AIPAC doesn't take? No. None of those people are leaders. None of them are leaders. I'll say this. Stop criticizing each other and start watching out for each other, because what's coming next, you're not ready for. I used to work for the government. Salute to you, Maurice Henderson. That's where I'm coming from. This is why I do what I do. So that we can put the focus where it needs to be instead of on each other, right? Instead of the proletariat class clashing over left versus right paradigm bullshit. Well, we need to focus on, like you said, being prepared, being self-sufficient, getting our shit together, right? Because when the day comes, it's going to come, right? When the day comes, you're going to need to be prepared. Absolutely. Gasoline says Kamala Harris is passed out next to a box of wine. That's hilarious. Bowling Frog said there is no authority other but yourself. And I will also say that the only legitimate authority one person has over the other is a parent over their children, right? Because obviously their children they can't survive on their own. They need certain guidance. They need certain structure. And you give them that, you instill in them culture, customs, discipline, all that good stuff, morality, whatever you want. So that's your responsibility as for your children, right? And that's where it ends. I'm trying to get close to this goddamn garage. I'm about to get out of here. Yes. Unsheepled says, I call government drama kabuki theater. That's exactly what it is. Mrs. Tate, Larry's wife says, left and right are the same coin, different sides. Yes. Yeah. Yep. And people often talk about the lesser of two evils. You don't know which one's lesser. You only know what they present to you, right? And it depends on where your ideologies are. So if they appeal to your ideologies, obviously you're going to think they're less evil when they do bad things that you're willing to overlook. And obviously the other side, they're more evil because you don't agree with their ideology. So that makes their evil worse. That's the mental games we play. Salute to Coach Hudson in the building. Salute to you, bro. Thank you for coming through. Y'all go check out Coach Hudson. Hey, if you guys have got a channel, make sure you drop your links, man. Y'all drop your links. Marcy T, all y'all. When will we change? Voting says, voting makes no difference when everyone works for the same people. Bada boom, bada bing. That's pretty much the way it is. Right? They say, I forgot who it was. I think it was one of those Rothschilds peoples. One of them. They said every vote is a vote for us. And another one said, give me control over a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. Who has control of the nation's money? The Federal Reserve does. Federal Reserve Act of 1913 dictated that. I mean, we allowed our so-called representatives to hand over that control, right? We allowed it. And when President Nixon closed the gold window, and when we violated the Bretton Woods Agreement, hey, that's what we also created that problem, right? But we didn't decide to do that. That's what our so-called leaders decided to do. That's what these so-called representatives decided to do. Let's talk about oh yeah, I was going over, sometimes I get a little, sometimes I get off track, but not really. You know what I'm saying? I always come back to what it is. So let's talk about the Great Trust. Let's go into the Great Trust a little more, because this is what the United States plan is for Gaza. Now, this was before they had this, before October 7th, just so y'all know. The whole idea is to take over the Gaza Strip and turn it into some goddamn resort town that they can capitalize on, right? So I talked about how they talk about a U.S.-led multilateral custodianship leading to a reformed Palestinian self-governance. Of course, that they will place a puppet into, or puppets. It can start as a U.S.-Israel bilateral agreement taking control from Israel to the U.S. once Hamas is disarmed, and evolve into a formal multilateral trusteeship. Well, where is Palestine? It doesn't mention Palestine at all. Now it says $70 to $100 billion in public investment. Do you know what public investment is? Salute to Carolyn Lowe, RMLDT. Salute to you, Queen. The collapse globally is what's coming. Financials coming after a shutdown. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. The Tree to GE Tim says Milikowski is dragging out this conflict to stay out of jail. That's one reason, of course. So, $70 billion to $100 billion public investment, meaning taxpayer money. This is gonna come out of our pockets, triggering a 35 to 65 billion private investment. So there's going to be us. We're gonna put up the bulk of the money, and then of course the private corporations and stuff, that lobby in Congress and all that. They are going to put up 35 to 65. They're going to put up less than we are. Funding covers all aspects, including 10 mega construction projects, humanitarian assistance, economic development, generous voluntary relocation packages, and top-tier security. Top-tier security, military forces, military occupation. Keep their ass in line. This is going to be a highly funded apartheid in Gaza. Innovative funding model based on the land trust and tokenization. Returns above a defined IRR could be reinvested in the future wealth fund for Gaza. Social compact. Over 10 years, 1 million jobs created. Okay, these are going to be jobs that they're going to allow the Gazan people to have, making pennies probably. This is going to be part of like I said, an apartheid, right? Yeah, they're going to be living lavishly in the little Gazan people. They're going to come over and rub your feet and shine your shoes. That's what's going to happen. Okay. Now, this is the Great Trust, y'all. The Great Trust for Israel. For Gaza. This is what they want. Yeah. And the goal, it says, a thriving Gaza at the crossroads of a new Abrahamic architecture. So, in order to have this new Abrahamic architecture, they have to destroy all the buildings. They have to destroy all the buildings 84, as a matter of fact, percent of them are already destroyed. They destroyed 84% of Gaza. They're going to rebuild Gaza in this image, right? This is their plan. The risk. Gaza is an Iranian outpost. Gaza is an Iranian outpost in a moderate part of the region that will threaten IMEC, Abrahamic architecture, and undermine any future Palestinian self-governance. They're not interested in Palestinian self-governance. It's not going to be, how's it going to be Palestinian self-governance when they're going to have a formal multilateral trusteeship overseeing Gaza? How is that going to happen? How is Palestinians going to self-govern when they're going to be overseen and micromanaged by the U.S. and Israel? How is that? What is it? The opportunity. The Gaza is a regional trade hub at the crossroads of an ancient route, Egypt, Gaza, Babylon, and the incense trade route, India, Yemen, Arabia, Europe. It can thrive once again at the center of a pro-American regional architecture. Pro-American? I thought this was for Gaza, for Palestinian self-governance. Why isn't it pro-Palestinian instead of pro-United States? Pro-American? I'm sorry, is Gaza in America? Somebody help me understand this. Can somebody tell me, is Gaza in the United States? I'm confused. Is it in North America? Maybe is it somewhere in Canada? Where the fuck is Gaza at? Where's that? Pro-American? Ooh-wee. But this is the plan. Yes, sir. Humanitarian operations, transfer of administrative responsibilities, multilateral custodianship, self-governance under Abraham Accords. So, this is the framework, the hybrid security framework, self-funded force, gradually building local capacity. This is their plan. They got a whole big old plan, right? Look at this. Pages and pages. They put this shit right there out there in front of y'all. This is, you know what I mean? This is what they want. It is what it is. Right? This is the plan. And we're going to be funding it alongside the corporations who already get a shitload of money from us anyway. When they lobby and they put money into these people, trust me, they get a huge return on their investment because our government acts on their behalf. They represent them and they ensure that they make as much money and have as much power as possible. And what is in it for our representatives? The money, of course, the power, and the prestige and the positioning. Their children ain't got to worry about nothing. Their children ain't got to worry about nothing. They're locked in. All this the shit that's going on with Gaza, the shit that's going on in the Caribbean right now with Venezuela and now Colombia. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that 7 boats. And now they're trying to drag Colombia into this whole thing. Oh yeah. Now they're talking about Marxists. Right? The boat had Marxists on them. Marxists. Y'all familiar with that term? So now is it about the drugs or is it about Marxism? Is it about the Liberation Army? Which one is it? Is drugs or, I mean, it can be both, right? There can be Marxists that sell drugs, which I don't see a problem with that. But that's going to be a whole nother story. Oh, yeah. They got big plans for us, y'all. Oh, salute to Dolphin in the woods for dropping that $2 super chat. He says, vote everybody. We must take the house back. I appreciate your super chat, but no, I'm not going to advise that people vote. I think we should all sit out. That's what I think we should do. Organize, come together, have a conversation. Try it out. There's nothing wrong with trying. What if in the next election, instead of so many tens of millions of people showing up to the polls, what if that got reduced by 50%, 40%? What if a shitload of people didn't show up? Yes, Carolyn Lowe says voting gives it away consent to your rights. Yes. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for coming through. Please hit that like button on the way out, man. We barely have allies at Southpaw. This is true. Yeah, because we think that we are the world police and we can go around doing whatever the fuck we want with impunity. You know, we can just snatch and take and snatch and grab and grape and pillage and all this stuff. This is just what we do. So obviously we don't have a lot of allies, right? Anyway, thank y'all for coming through. Salute to Real Eyes in the building. Salute to you, Queen. We will never take the house back. We willingly gave it all the lifetime politicians. Yeah. So it is what it is. Anyway, I appreciate you. I appreciate my mod. Salute to Carolyn. Salute to Yeshua's return. Slim Hussein. Flying Guillotine. Marcy T was in the building. Black Spring with Autumn was in the building. Salute to y'all. Yes, hugs to you as well, Marcy T. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your disagreements. Salute to Mrs. Tate. Salute to you as well. Jay Stepham, or Jay September. Alicia Boy, salute to you. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Best wishes to you as well, TJ. Daryl Wright says he hasn't voted in 36 years. Salute to you. Salute to you for that. I never voted. The Last Empire says, say hello to me too. Hello, brother or sister, whatever you are. You too, Yeshua's return. Y'all have a good one, man. Y'all stay up. Salute to Pixel Warden. I'll take care. You seem like a pretty cool dude. I just randomly came across your live feed, so take care. Take care to you as well, man. Take care, Dolphin in the Woods. I appreciate you for that super chat, Dolphin in the Woods. I really do. What time? Usually I go live at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. And sometimes I'll do another live in the afternoon. So there might be another live in the afternoon today. I would say around 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. I go in the morning at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. But I appreciate you. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. And we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom and truth. Peace.